Why do INFJs find it difficult to express their emotions to other people? Because that's what matters, right? Expressing emotions to other people. Now, this is something that we hear a lot. It's a question that was asked by C.L. Strife, and the reason why I thought it was particularly interesting to return to it is that my thinking on this has evolved, and I thought it would be worthwhile sharing it with you. Now, my thinking until recently was really, I don't want to say traditional, because not everybody has that view, but it's a perspective that will be shared by a number of people and people who think about typology. And the view is simply said, INFJs are FETI users. You'll notice that ENFJs also have difficulty, actually more difficulty, talking about their emotions. All they do is it being in the business of extroverting feeling, right? So talking about emotional in general, sort of depersonalizing emotion to turn it into moral values about things we should or shouldn't do, to make people feel certain ways, but not in that way. They kind of throw outside their emotional states, but in the process of extroverting them, they don't express what the states are, and so they're distant from those states. ENFJs do that. I mean, at the other pole of the FETI axis, you have INTPs, who are more so in the business of analyzing emotional states in a detached manner. INFJs are a bit closer to ENFJs in this regard, but they can still have well-developed TI, so you get this bit of a mix between the universalizing of emotion into values and norms, and also the analysis of those particular propositions they make, more so than ENFJs. But that does not make them, at first sight, any closer to the expression of their own emotions. A kind of business that ISFPs, INFPs, and other high FI users excel in. Now, this particular interpretation is an interpretation I'm happy to keep. I think it has a lot of truth in it. It's a very, very useful first step toward understanding what's going on with INFJs. What I'm proposing is not to replace it, but to go a little bit deeper. What's underneath that? Okay? It occurred to me not so long ago that underneath that lies alienation. So it's not like I had never come up with this concept. Of course, it came up in around 2020, 2021. I first articulated it in the Ecstatic Soul, and it's been with me, and it's been in my videos ever since. Probably the one word that is mentioned most often in terms of INFJ experience in the world: existential alienation, or alienation for short. Now, what is the link between expressing emotion and alienation? Well, the thing is that even if the expression of your own emotion is different from the depersonalizing of emotion that FE does to make it more groupal or more universal, when you express emotions, they're your own emotions in this instance, you are still bringing them to another person or another group of people. In other words, you're bringing them to another subjectivity. Okay? So here the idea is that you don't want to depersonalize the emotion, otherwise you become detached from them. But you still have to make a movement toward the outside. Okay? But the thing is, if you experience alienation, the outside has a weird essence to it. It feels somehow distant, existentially speaking. It feels somewhat foreign. It feels somewhat unreal or dereal. So if you take for granted that that's the case at a primordial level of INFJ experience, then surely whatever happens in interaction with other people is going to have that particular feel attached to it as well. And so here the idea is that when you express anything, including your emotional states, and even if you're competent at actually expressing those states, you are going to still experience them as being somewhat foreign. And that's the foreignness of them is not due to the nature of your emotions. It's not even really due to your processing of those emotions, even though, again, with the FETI axis, that will partly happen. It's also that even if the content was exactly transparent to how you feel, once it's in the outside world, shared with someone else, and you're looking at it because you've just produced it, you've just expressed it, so it's now in the world, in the form of speech, in the form of sentences, it will be alienated from you because it's now part of the world. So when you're looking at it, once it's out there, it will no longer feel like it's really your emotions, even if you in fact did succeed in doing just that. Part of the reason why secure/spiritual INFJs and also spiritualized INFJs, part of why they are better able at expressing their emotions, they're better able to express their emotions, has a lot to do not with the fact they actually better express their emotions, but they're better able to feel like they really have expressed their emotions. Not because they have overcome alienation, that is impossible. That's an existential central feature of INFJ experience. If you like, the structure of the INFJ is alienated by essence. But they are unsevered, right? Either they are by, as a result of the way they were brought up, that's the secure INFJ, or they have become unsevered as a result of essentially individuation and self-work and self-exploration, that's the spiritualized INFJ. But in both cases, alienation is unsevered, right? Which means that the strangeness between the NI world and the real world is attenuated. It's made less intense by the phenomenon of bridging the two worlds. By having this bridging, you're able to still connect the two worlds, and so that if you express the way you feel, it's no longer going to sound and feel quite as strange and distant as it would in the case of severance, when it's not transcended. So it immediately follows from this that the feeling that when you're expressing your emotions, they don't feel like they're really your own, is more likely to happen in the case of the so-called insecure INFJs, namely the solipsist and the compliant/adaptive submissive INFJ. So again, that's a deeper interpretation, right? Here we're not really talking about the fact that we in fact do struggle to express our emotions. What we do struggle with more fundamentally is to feel that once we've expressed our real emotions, now that they're in the world, they really are our own. So let me know in the comments what you thought. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget, I've written 2 books on the INFJ that might be of interest to you if you haven't already got them. The Infinite Soul, which is my latest book on the INFJ Life in the Modern World. The world is often seen as hostile by INFJs, but it's possible, I believe, to live a fruitful, rich, and deep existence without sacrificing your authenticity in this world right now. This is what this book explores. Become spiritualized, okay? This is a guide to it. And if you have the book, loved it, but haven't reviewed it, I could really benefit from more reviews on Amazon, so please help me with the referencing. It really, really helps. Don't underestimate it. My other book, which is the prequel to The Infinite Soul, is The Ecstatic Soul, a new look at the INFJ personality. This book came out 2021. There's lots of reviews. Check them out if you're thinking of getting it. All the links are below, by the way. This book looks more at the inside of the INFJ mind, INFJ consciousness, what it's like to be an INFJ, and how it manifests in experience. This is the book to get. And don't forget, the lifeblood of my channel is my Patreon page, guys. It goes a long way toward helping me keep the channel going, so I'd be immensely grateful if you donated. There's a link below to my Patreon, and anywhere from $3.50 a month, you can get access to bonus content, in-depth discussions of themes that I discuss on mainstream YouTube, and my books, ongoing research. We engage, we exchange ideas. It's a collaborative project in many ways, and it's becoming more and more of that. You can interact with me directly, suggest new content, you get priority for that too. So it's a pretty good deal, and you help me in the process. Okay guys, link is below, and I talk to you soon. Bye-bye.